All right, guess what? I'm back. Another video, and this is not the last of them for today. I'm going to keep on pumping out 49ers content because that's what the people want. And we've got to make the people happy. 49ers are at 6-5. They're in the playoff picture. The schedule's manageable. The season's looking rosy now, certainly rosier than it was a couple weeks ago. So why not keep on pumping out the YouTube videos? As long as you guys keep on subscribing, I'm going to keep on making them. So subscribe to the Athletics, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow on Twitter at Lombardi himself, but make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. It's time to talk about the 49ers defense and Azeez Al-Shaair in particular, because he's going to take on an outsized role for this team. He did yesterday after Fred Warner exited with injury. In a couple hours, we're going to find out just how long Fred Warner will miss, if he misses any time at all. But while Warner was out yesterday, because Dre Greenlaw also got hurt, Azeez Al-Shaair had the radio in his helmet. He was the play caller for the 49ers defense, and he kept things together. The 49ers, again, this is not a great team defensively, but they need a certain level of opportunism from their defense to be able to accomplish their goals and go all the way this season. Take a look at this. Over the last 5 weeks, this is while the 49ers have gone 4-1, including that ugly loss to Arizona. This is an accurate measurement of offensive and defensive efficiency, expected points per play. The 49ers offense, expected points per play over the last 5 weeks, has generated 6.81 points over your average offense, expected points added. Number one in the NFL. The defense, 1.44 points. It hasn't been a net negative, but it also has been a below average unit, as you can see from its rank, number 22. Now, if we take the Arizona game out of that, I understand a lot of people think that game might have been a fluke. Fine. If you take the Arizona game out of that, consider only the wins. 49ers defense is like number 12 or number 13. The point still stands. The 49ers have an elite offense and a middling to okay defense, okay? They don't have the great 2019 defense anymore. Without Jason Verrett at cornerback, I mean, that 2019 team had Sherman at CB1, but now without Verrett, but without DeForest Buckner or Javon Kinlaw on the inside, without D Ford, who we're still waiting for him to come off of IR, without those pieces, the 49ers simply aren't going to be an overpowering defensive unit. But they can be an opportunistic one, and that's what I wrote about on The Athletic yesterday. By the way, final day of the Black Friday $1 a month sale, so check the chat window right there and check out the piece. Azeez Al-Shaair running from that middle linebacker spot, calling the plays, making sure that the 49ers had that good flow of communication from D'Amico Ryans on the sideline to the 10 defenders on the field. It's his job to put the 49ers in as many chances as possible to deliver big game-changing plays. And one of the biggest game-changing plays yesterday was right here. It was Azeez Al-Shaair's interception, and we could take a look at it right now.
Cousins throws on first down. It's picked off. It was intended for Thielen. Al-Shaair with the interception, and he returns it to the Vikings 2-yard line.
The Vikings went to Adam Thielen well one too many times. In the first half, they went to Adam Thielen well, obviously, a lot. They scored 2 touchdowns with it, I think 4 or 5 total receptions. It was something they couldn't do against the 49ers in the playoffs to end that 2019 season. The pass rush was just on Kirk Cousins way too quickly. The pass rush just isn't dominant anymore. Nick Bosa is your only plus pass rusher who's out there on the edge for the majority of snaps. So far, Charles Omenihu was only delivering about 15 snaps a game. Maybe that increases as we go along. Maybe D Ford comes out and gives the 49ers 10 quality snaps a game. But right now, Bosa is your only guy who's going 50 snaps a game, bringing consistent heat off the edge, especially with Eric Armstead kicked over to the inside. So the truth of the matter is that you're just not going to be getting that torrent and that wave of pressure down after down that the 49ers were getting in 2019. So first halves, like the one that Adam Thielen posted with Kirk Cousins throwing to him, are going to happen against this 49ers defense. But what does opportunism means? It means that you eventually find a way to make one of those plays that was a positive for the opposition a big-time negative. You don't luck into it. You study the defense, you study the offense, study the offense. You wait for your spot, and boom, then you pounce. Well, you guys just saw that video. That's exactly what Azeez Al-Shaair did. Here's Kirk Cousins. There's the throw right there. That's the time of the throw. You could see where Adam Thielen is right here on the bottom left, and you could see where Azeez Al-Shaair is. 49ers made a slight adjustment. They had the linebacker drop, yet still stay underneath the receiver. They didn't want to give up any of that cheap yardage. The Vikings got a little used to that cheap yardage being there because the 49ers were initially intimidated by the Vikings' ability to throw downfield. But the 49ers couldn't have that anymore in the second half. They wanted to take control of this football game. So Azeez Al-Shaair, in the game where he put the radio in his helmet because Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw were unavailable due to injuries, it was Azeez who got into position for the 49ers to make a huge interception, put the 49ers right in plus territory. I mean, that was a 24-yard return, right? That was a big boy return. I mean, he's running through guys, as you guys can see right here, on his way into very close scoring range. Let's put it that way. Didn't reach the end zone, got inside the 5, set up a 49ers touchdown. You have to give him credit for coming through at a big time because we're so familiar with 49ers defenses that haven't been opportunistic. That was as recently as early this season where the 49ers weren't generating takeaways. In every single season under Kyle Shanahan, except for 2019, the 49ers have been horrific as far as generating takeaways, and that's up until the last few games of this 2021 season. So that play from Azeez Al-Shaair, I think, represented a lot of the 49ers' victory. They needed that from their defense because they weren't getting cold, hard stops. They need the opportunism to do it. Other opportunistic plays that were key yesterday. Nick Bosa's sack. We can watch this one as well. Make it big.
The game fifth for the Vikings as Cousins is wrapped up and taken down. 11th sack of the season. Nick Bosa.
He's working against Christian Darrisaw here, who's the rookie left tackle for the Minnesota Vikings. And remember, at this point of the game, it's 14-7. You can see there on the score bug at the bottom. 49ers are trending 14-7. Vikings have just picked up a first down by bringing in a 6th offensive lineman. They're legitimately hogging the ball. And the 49ers, if they keep on giving up first downs here, would be in the danger zone. And it looked like they would continue giving up first downs because they weren't getting enough of a pass rush. And the secondary wasn't able to handle Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. So what happens? Well, Nick Bosa is one of the best players in football, makes a play, takes over the game. Here's Darrisaw off the snap. There's Bosa. All it took was one little, hand scissor move. Picked it up from Larry Johnson at Ohio State and from his dad and his brother. And Kirk Cousins is dead to rights. You could see the Vikings likely had a deep concept here, pass game-wise, because all the 49ers defensive backs are still running downfield. You don't see any Vikings receivers close. You see the check down guy here, but Cousins didn't even have a chance to get it to him. If left tackle gets beaten cleanly on the quarterback's blind side, just like Nick Bosa managed to do to Christian Darrisaw there, you're going to see that pocket collapse very fast. You would need a very, very, very mobile quarterback who's looking to run first to get away from Nick Bosa there. Just not realistic. So this play changed the game because 49ers were down 14-7. This actually would help force a punt 2 plays later. And then right after that, the 49ers became the ball hogs themselves. So right time, right place for Nick Bosa. The stars deliver when it matters. I know I was going to talk about the less heralded guys, but Bosa got on that list. Here I talk about Al-Shaair's interception. All right, how about Talanoa Hufanga? Maybe I should put his name in this headline as well. That pass breakup of Tyler Conklin was huge. 49ers were up by 8 late in the game. The Vikings are knocking on the door. It's 3rd and 3. Touchdown there. All of a sudden, 49ers are up only 2. We all know what happened later. Robbie Gould missed the field goal. So even if the Vikings don't get a 2-point conversion potentially there after a touchdown didn't happen, obviously, after a theoretical touchdown, they'd be in field goal range late in that game. And the 49ers would lose the same way they lost to the Green Bay Packers. So if Talanoa Hufanga does not make that pass breakup against Tyler Conklin, the 49ers might well lose this game. And everybody talks about Talanoa Hufanga's tackling ability and says, well, the coverage isn't great. And yeah, it was Adam Thielen who scored into his zone earlier in the game on that nice little naked rollout from Kirk Cousins. But Talanoa Hufanga is growing on the job, as you would hope that rookies would. And everybody criticizes the 49ers for not getting a lot out of their draft classes. Well, I don't know. Elijah Mitchell's a draftee. Talanoa Hufanga's a draftee. Jalen Moore, yeah, he's given them some good snaps this year. He didn't play yesterday. The 49ers favored Tom Compton, but Jalen Moore's given him something. And guess what? Deebo Samuel's a draftee. Nick Bosa's a draftee. Not all draft picks are going to be hits. But the 49ers, for some reason, and I'm not talking about Bosa and Samuel right now, I'm talking about Hufanga. I'm talking about Elijah Mitchell. I'm talking about Dre Greenlaw. I'm talking about the fifth-round picks. Obviously, Kittle. That's the start of the tradition back in 2017. But the fifth and sixth rounders, because Mitchell came in the sixth round, really seem to be consistently producing for the 49ers. And I think that's a testament to the scouting department. This team consistently is able to find value in the lower rounds. And the narrative that they don't find anything in these drafts is flat out incorrect. There actually should be a stronger narrative about how they are able to find diamonds in the rough later on. And Talanoa Hufanga looks to be one of those players. Elijah Mitchell certainly is one of those players. By the way, subscribe to the channel. Be sure to see the video I posted a few minutes ago on Elijah Mitchell. I think he should be in the Rookie of the Year discussion this season. Not saying he's going to win it. I think he should be in the discussion. Finally, the disciplined last drive for the 49ers. They kept the Vikings in bounds. Emmanuel Mosley, give him credit. Azeez Al-Shaair, give him credit. K'Wan Williams, give him credit for the pass break up there on Osborne toward the end. But those first two plays between Al-Shaair and K'Wan Williams, keeping the Vikings in bounds, were excellent examples of situational awareness the 49ers didn't show against the Green Bay Packers when they gave up that field goal in the final 37 seconds of the game. So you have to tip your cap to the fact that D'Amico Ryans is coaching this unit up, and they're growing on the job. Again, I'll go back to this. Over the last 5 weeks, 49ers offense has been number 1, defense has been number 22. But if you take out the Arizona game, defense is right in the middle of the pack. If the 49ers can hold steady here, and maybe they don't stay at number 1 offensively, they're going to lose Deebo Samuel likely for a game or two. So say the offense just stays top 5. Hold steady offensively. That defense needs to be top 12. Boom, you have a Super Bowl contender if special teams doesn't screw it up. They almost did yesterday. But speaking offensively and defensively, you can maintain top 5 offense, top 12 defense. That is the formula of balance for the 49ers to challenge a team like Tampa Bay, which is already really balanced. And that balance is going to be attained at the margins. The margins happen with opportunism. That means that Azeez Al-Shaair has to continue delivering. That means Josh Norman has to continue forcing fumbles. 7 strips already this year for Josh Norman. Those lead the NFL. The 49ers just haven't had very good recovery luck. That means that anything the 49ers can get from D Ford is going to be huge. Maybe he comes off of IR this week. All of this, guys, can add up, and the 49ers can cobble together an above-average defense. It didn't seem like they could against Arizona a few weeks ago. That was an ugly effort, but now it really seems like that's attainable. And that's a credit to D'Amico Ryans, and that's a credit to the scouting department for finding guys like Azeez Al-Shaair, for finding guys, like Dre Greenlaw. I know he didn't play much yesterday, coming off IR. He might have re-aggravated the injury. But over the course of the past few years, we've seen those margin players deliver at key opportunistic moments for the 49ers. And if they get more of that, and it certainly seems like they can after what they did to Minnesota yesterday, they have the formula to do really good stuff. So that's what I wanted to kind of talk about today. We need to play our young cornerback. I think you're talking about Deommodore Lenoir or Ambry Thomas, one or the other. I'm going to post a video of Ambry Thomas today. They'll play the young cornerback when the young cornerback is the best option to play. And right now, Josh Norman and Emmanuel Mosley are the 2 best options to play. Is Norman a good cornerback at this point of his career? No, he's almost 34 years old. He's given up plays, but he could still strip the ball out, and he played good technique on that last drive. The 49ers have gotten burned with Deommodore Lenoir in the game, and Ambry Thomas hasn't shown, that he's ready for the bright lights yet. So they'll continue to develop. Nothing against those guys. They're rookies, but Josh Norman's a former Pro Bowler, and the 49ers still feel they get more out of him. And it's hard to argue with him because the defense is doing what it needs to opportunistically. That's a good question. Sherman's hurt right now. That's the problem. So the one thing that Norman has had over Richard Sherman is that he has stayed healthy. Can this team keep this run game going into the playoffs? Will Shanahan keep that run-heavy play even when they fall behind? You have to. You try not to fall behind, obviously, because you have to work your way back, and sometimes it's not possible to continue running the ball. This is a topic I'm going to have to handle in a different video because I want to keep this one too the defense. But I do think that the 49ers can keep that run game going if Jimmy Garoppolo continues delivering in the pass game. The key to the run game to unlock it is the pass game. The run game relies on Jimmy Garoppolo as much as Jimmy Garoppolo relies on the run game. It's a symbiotic relationship. And along those lines, the defense relies on the offense just as the offense relies on the defense. You saw complimentary football for the 49ers against the Vikings. You've seen it lately. I've got to go on to KMBR right now, make a radio appearance. So be sure to tune in there. I think they have a streaming app. And be sure to sign up to The Athletic and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo and some other stuff later. All right, everybody, take care.